Welcome to the Hindu editorial analysis on 8th January 2022. The title of the editorial I am going to discuss is On the Boil. The editorial discusses about the unrest in Kazakhstan since the new year over an increase in prices for LPG. On January 2, 2022, huge protests erupted in the town of Sanaojan in the Mangistan region over an increase in prices for LPG. Very soon the protests spread to the regional hub of Akhtau on the eastern shore of the Caspian Sea. On January 2, 2022, protests were turning violent with thousands take to the streets of Almaty, the largest city of Kazakhstan and its capital from 1929 to 1997. The police fired tear gas and stun grenades. The present capital of Kazakhstan is Nur Sultan or Astana. In the midnight of January 4, 2022, President Kasim Jaman Tokayev imposed a state of emergency in Almaty. He agreed to cut the price of LPG. The chant of "Old Man Out" was still heard in the streets of Almaty. The protesters were referring to Nur Sultan Nazarbayev, who stepped down in 2019 and is still controlling the administration of Kazakhstan through the Security Council of Kazakhstan. Nur Sultan holds the title of Elbasi, meaning leader of the nation, and ruled Kazakhstan since his assuming office as the first president of Kazakhstan from 24 April 1990 to 20 March 2019. His rule in Kazakhstan was a rule of dictatorship. The people did not like him. He even named the capital from Astana to Nur Sultan. He is the target of protesters now in Kazakhstan. On January 5, 2022, Tokayev takes control of the Security Council to quell the unrest. The protesters continued violent protests and captured Almaty's local government headquarters. The mayor's office and the presidential residence in Almaty are burned in flames. Do you remember the saying, Nero played piano when Rome was burnt? This is exactly what is happening in Almaty. On January 6, 2022, Tokayev termed protesters as terrorists and killed dozens of protesters and gave shooting orders. The protests since turned bloodshed. Meanwhile, Tokayev appealed to Moscow-led Collective Security Treaty Organization, which immediately responded. The Kazakhstan turned into a war ground. China defended Tokayev's actions and offered help through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where Kazakhstan is a member, along with China, Russia, India, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Pakistan. The Russian-led Collective Security Treaty Organization, which has sent paratroopers to Kazakhstan, is an intergovernmental military alliance in Eurasia and consists of select post-Soviet states. The members are Russia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. It is also known as the Tashkent Pact or Tashkent Treaty. Coming back to the editorial, the present crisis in Kazakhstan has been the biggest political crisis in over 3 decades. Although Kazakhstan is an oil-rich country, poor salaries and poor working conditions have made labor at ethnic unrest. The hope that the people had in Tokayev is fading. The pandemic and the inflation aggravated the situation. Fuel price hike was just a fire into the train of gunpowder which was already ready for blast. The people demand political reforms now. They are tired of Nazarbayev model of dictatorship playing through Tokayev. For Tokayev, this is a self-contradictory situation. of both a crisis and an opportunity. The challenge to the ruling elite has been is a great crisis. On the other hand, it is time for him to come out of Nagarbayev's shadow. He has to deal with protests wisely by making wisest choices. The Belarus model of force as a measure to tackle protests would not take the people into his hands. The sensible choice would be consultations with people. A social contract with the people has to be built up. When talked about social contract, my mind bows in reverence to its proponent Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who was the hero of French Revolution. Rousseau's central argument in the social contract is that government attains its right to exist and to govern by the consent of the governed. Exactly so.